Please remember that this video is protected by copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowance is made for fair use, for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Non-profit, educational or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. After more than 1,100 earthquakes in 1 month and the heaviest earthquake in Montana in 20 years, a seismologist even since 53 years, the scientists take care that the Superman falls under the Yellowstone National Park into a Category 7 eruption. Seismologists and other scientists warn that this means the destruction of most of the United States, and ultimately the deaths of billions of people, because the sky across the northern hemisphere will be eclipsed for years by toxic ash clouds. Giant cooker hood. Yellowstone is described by National Geographic as a giant fast-cooking pan that is heated by a huge Superman. Rain and melting water, which has been crushed by soil cracking, is heated to the boiling point by volcanic gases, after which the accumulated pressure is finally released in the form of famous geysers such as Old Faithful, which averages about 17 times a day, bursts out and boil hot air for 1.5 to 5 minutes and steam for about 40 meters. The magma plume below the park is at least 1,000, but probably 2,900 kilometers deep, all the way to the boundary with the outer core of our planet. The heat that the geysers and pools in the park keep on steam comes from magma reservoirs that are located above this huge plume. After a wave of over 1,100 earthquakes in the Yellowstone caldera in 1 month, the west of the state of Montana was hit on July 6 by an M5.8 earthquake, the most powerful in 20 years' time, and according to seismologist Mike Stickney of the Earthquake Studies Office is the most powerful since 1964. The quake was felt in a radius of hundreds of kilometers. After the quake, 7 earthquakes followed from M4.9 to M3.8. 2. Disaster without disrespect. A complete crash of the Superman would be catastrophic not only for America but for the whole world. Hundreds of cubic kilometers of lava, rocks and ashes would be blown up high into the atmosphere. The axis would immerse most of the northern hemisphere in complete darkness for a few days. Within 160 kilometers of the eruption all life would be killed immediately. Those who live just outside this area, like the residents of Denver and Salt Lake City, are waiting for a lot more cruel fate. These cities would be paved with hot volcanic ash, dust and rock blocks for weeks. Ultimately, no one will survive. It is estimated that 90% of the population will die around 1,000 kilometers away. In a radius of 1,600 kilometers everything will be swallowed by a minimum of 3 meters thick layer of shaft. 2/3 of the United States are uninhabitable in one blow. The volcanic ash will poison most of the drinking water, which makes the growing of crops almost impossible. Nuclear winter. Especially the northern hemisphere of the planet would end in a nuclear winter. For years, a term originally linked to the effects of a global nuclear war. The huge amount of ash in the atmosphere will darken the sunlight so that there will be an extreme period of global cooling. The temperature will even fall by 6 to 7 degrees Celsius, causing most harvests to fail, resulting in massive famine. Destructive eruption is getting closer. A complete burst of the Yellowstone Superman will ultimately cost billions of people, thereby effectively ending human civilization. Previously, seismologists have their original estimates that such an eruption will last for thousands of years, adjusted to a few hundred, and possibly even within a century. In view of the unexpected sharp increase in the number of earthquakes, a new adjustment to an earlier date can no longer be ruled out. The U.S. government has taken this danger so seriously that hundreds of billions of dollars have been concluded with Australia, Argentina and Brazil in 2014 to include large numbers of U.S. refugees in the event of such a mega outbreak. See further link down to Article 18-06. The most noteworthy of these contracts is that they have a term of only 10 years, and thus end in 2024. The big question is why Washington would spend hundreds of billions of dollars for a very temporary insurance, for an event that would have been waiting for at least a few hundred years. We are anonymous. We are legion. We do not forgive. We do not forget. Expect us.